All right.
Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We're rehashing MySpace stories, and now we're here to play princesses. With that being said, we are here with our cast and crew. We have Kai, who's playing Poppy. We have Chaotic Rogue, who's playing Vesper. Myself, who's playing the goodest boy, Wesley. And of course, we have Keith, aka Material Components, here to traverse us through Numerian Warriors. Copyright infringement. If you guys want to help support the channel and see more of the zany wackiness, you guys can do that by going to our Patreon and pledging any amount of dollars there. You can also join us for our conversation in a Discord. And also, as soon as I change it, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see that there's a bar down there that should say something different than what it says now. When it does, every dollar that goes into that goes back to these wonderful players you see here. And when that bar fills, Keith gets to inject all kinds of wacky, weird nastiness into our lives. And with that shilling out of the way, Keith, take us to Skysea.
Yes, welcome back to Skysea. It's been a second, but we're here and joyous to be returning to the fate-accelerated, random, crazy world of homebrew making, floating above the planet of Umdaar. This is of course He-Man, She-Ra, Star versus the Forces of Evil, and Steven Universe, and Voltron, and who knows, everything mashed all together in one. As a recap, we are in the city of Numeria, which is the capital of Numeria, the queendom that Wesley and Vesper hail from, and there is a tournament in the midst of the city of Numeria for the crown of the queendom, which is, unbeknownst to the people of Numeria, a key to a strange Voltron goddess temple that the heroes and heroines discovered in the Hyperwoods, which is the crazy dimension that is poised to suck the city of Numeria into its midst, causing terrible chaos. And there's all kinds of plots coming from that place. There's at least one spaceship that you guys destroyed in the Hyperwoods, and we get the impression that several other ones are making a ring around the city. And if whoever wins the tournament will be crowned in the center of the city. And Wesley knows that would be disastrous. That would be the dot in the center of the circle that would activate the massive rift that would suck the whole city into the Hyperwoods. So high stakes riding on this tournament. And we also know that Queen Zinnia, Poppy's mother, who you guys were chasing through the Hyperwoods, is in the midst of the city somewhere. And what else do we need to know? We were in the midst of squashing some kind of crazy plot involving Cake Day. The cakes that the royal bakers were in the midst of working overtime to bake were discovered to have some kind of crazy silver poison in them. And so you guys spoke with the queen, with Vesper's mother, Queen Sidus. Among other things, she told Vesper that she was not fit to rule, and so this tournament was to find the strongest to take the throne in her stead, since Evan Song, her sister, who was lauded as a great warrior, while Vesper is seen as kind of frivolous and too pretty to be strong, even though she is very strong. Yeah, I'm a little circuitous here in my explanation, but told her that the cakes were poisoned, and so orders were given through her assistant to cancel the distribution of cakes after the tournament. And so you guys witnessed several of the lead bakers in the bakery district discussing that amongst themselves. And Vesper, we left off with her training, like getting ready for the tournament, and was visited by her grandmother, the last Glamazon, hashtag the last Glamazon, who visited her and spoke with her about her destiny, that she had been inside the crazy wild temple as well in her journeys around, and has since that time practiced and wandered the world and decoded the fusion dance that you guys witnessed or Wesley witnessed in the licking of the chair vision.
Ah, yes. Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So a trick that I'm going to use is the previously on, which I've been wanting to do this all season, but haven't had the chance in order to pretend like an episode happened in the weeks that were off, to kind of fill in some blanks so we can move forward quickly. So previously on, you guys all remember this, right? Vesper competing in the tournament has been totally romping. Give me Vesper a moment of flashback of you defeating some other figure in the tournament.
There's definitely a moment or two of like, you know how when you watch those fight scenes, those fight montages, and it's just like a one punch and the person goes flying and slams into the wall, like leaves an imprint? Definitely that. So I've actually like simultaneously also ruined the arena a little bit in the process of this.
Yes. And a reminder, the arena is kind of this like ruined Roman temple. So like these neoclassical pillars that are like the roof of the temple has been destroyed by time. And so the pillars themselves are serving as these like American Gladiator style pillars. So people are using the big jousting rods between these pillars. They're close enough where you can jump between them.
Oh, yeah, that.
But the rule of the tournament is like whoever touches the ground loses, right? Is disqualified. So you guys are like standing on top of these pillars and jousting one another, and so you send someone flying.
Oh, I still sent someone flying. It took like they touched the floor eventually when they like peeled out of the wall and fell down.
Yes,
which was entertaining to watch them. Like they're like everybody had to wait with bated breath of the like. All right, did they actually have they lost? And then they fall down
as the dust clears.
Yeah, exactly.
And beneath all these pillars, the chalk outline remains. Beneath all the pillars is the crowd of people gathered, right? So kind of at the base of these pillars, there are these masses of Numerians who are all like cheering and hooting and hollering for this tournament. So if someone gets knocked down, they like, scatter in a hurry in order for the person to hit the ground. And then floating above it is the pleasure barge of Queen Sidus, who has been watching the tournament throughout. Cut to a moment of Wesley seeing one of the figures. There's this person in the tournament that you guys have keep seeing that's going by the name of Mysteria. And you guys have seen her. She wears like this like hooded cloak, like this gray cloak, and her face is like totally cast in absurd shadow, right? But a moment where Wesley sees her in passing, like bumps shoulders with her in the crowd, and she looks into Wesley's face and the closeness. You're able to see past the shadows overcast into her face, and you see her skin is characteristically the kind of the gray of the memory vampire. Ooh. And you get a flash of a memory. The face is absolutely beautiful, and you get this flash of a memory of kissing her when you in your past life, and you distinctly remember her name, Remora.
You boys got moves.
But in that moment, you're
Were they drunk?
Or drugged. I mean, who knows?
It was a whole life ago.
At least one. But now we're both undead, so let's go for it.
But in
romance in the afterlife.
In the flustered moment, she like pushes past you and gives you a dirty look and kind of vanishes into the crowd.
Shit.
And Poppy, as you are traveling about the city, chilling at night, you catch in the midst of the crowd a glimpse of your mother, of Queen Zinnia, and she's wearing her cloak. Everybody's got hooded cloaks because they're cool. But she has this, because of the horns, the cloak kind of sits a little perched over her head. And you see her moving through the crowd, kind of twirling her like crystal ball that you as a kid were always like kind of rolling your eyes about, because you're like, I get it, Mom, you're a diviner, right? You need to have your crystal ball with you at all times. But you distinctly notice that she is not a vampire. She's not one of these memory vampires, but she is here and traveled through the Hyperwoods and has been accused of murder and whatnot of the unrelated Celestial Protectorate that didn't get involved in this plot at all. But yeah, that was previously on. So where are we at this moment?
So how many rounds of the tournament are there?
Yeah. Was I not allowed to like skip ahead a few, or did I actually have to fight from the bottom?
No, at this point, this is the final day of the tournament, and you have defeated everyone thus far and are in the final bracket. Yeah, cut ahead, right?
Good.
To the final bracket, where you are facing Mysteria, the figure that Wesley bumped into.
Bum.
There was
Isssing.
Oh, okay. All right, we get Sassy Kai this week. Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, what I need to know what's going on with your bug pet that you guys made friends with in the Hyperwoods too.
Just follows me
Bullet?
around. Yeah,
Right.
Bullet. Bullet just follows me around. Sometimes when I'm lazy, I like side saddle ride him around.
Good. Classic Bullet.
Yeah, classic Bullet.
Probably got like a really pretty saddle at this point too, so that way it's like, yeah.
Yeah, people make way when I'm walking with him. It's nice.
I agree.
So there was a hook at the end of the last episode of the possibility of fusion, right? As grandmother Tristan has taught Vesper the fusion dance, and if that is something that you guys are intrigued by, you could certainly compete in the tournament in the form of a fusion. If you wanted to, or you could reserve it for, an opportunity. If a need for it arises, you do know that it'll be challenging to accomplish. And you've been warned by Tristan that often failed attempts at fusing, you kind of share some secrets or some feelings with one another because you become the same person for a moment, and so a failed fusion can often lead to like ruined friendships, tensions. I don't know.
Wow, it's bringing us
No
to
pressure.
Sad Town, Keith. Jeez.
Cool, you tell
We had
us
an
this
ultimate episode.
now.
Fused together, hate each other forever. Like, oh no.
Just don't mess it up, okay?
Yeah.
If
If you fail,
I
you
will
die.
trust roll 20 for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You both
We're
get
gonna-
splinched in half. Like, oh shit.
And everything ends an episode early. Goodbye.
Do we want to fuse for the tournament, or is Vesper currently crushing it? Literally.
I mean, she's
I
probably
think we let Vesper crush it so she can prove to her mom that her mom's an a-hole.
That's true.
pretty much is.
Yeah.
It's pretty, yeah.
I'm for this.
Did
Cool.
my grandmother warn me about the I might hate everybody?
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
spoilers for her?
Yeah.
Totally. That was part of the, and so she said that it's something not to do lightly, right?
Okay. Yeah, then I think even Vesper would probably be like, nah, I think I got this, guys. Let's like wait until, I don't know, when everything's maybe exploding before we do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I'm not super hyped about it anyway, so.
Really? I think it'd be fun.
I mean, you only have to like fuse with like one person. I mean, I wonder if you could do 3.
No, don't we all fuse together?
Yeah,
No?
because all of us fuse together.
No, I think it's just one of us.
The like each person is going to make it harder. So it's usually like master 1 step before you take 2 steps kind of thing.
Okay.
That's what you say.
Yeah, Keith, you tell us this. I don't think you understand who you're playing with.
You say that, but you're wrong.
I mean, I'm all for the awesome. So.
Oh, this is okay.
All right. So, are there any anything that you guys wanted to? I guess was there anything you would have wanted to like accomplish in the course of the recap of the previously on? Like if there was downtime, there were like days of downtime as the tournament progressed. Is there anything that you wanted to accomplish then, or otherwise we're at the day of the tournament, the day of the final round of the tournament, cake day?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, other than like, I don't know, maybe spy, right? Like I want to get a who is the competition, so that Vesper has a leg up on kicking ass and taking names. It is this figure going by the name of Mysteria that you remember from a past life. And she is like a very strong, forceful fighter. She's been besting Numerians kind of left and right, but she hasn't like revealed her identity. I want to get in on that. I want to get in on some identity situations here and find out where she's staying. I'm gonna lick her again. Where is she staying? It's the penultimate episode. We're getting weird. Starts with a rock.
Already weird. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? Yeah. The Princesses of Skysea. What can Wesley put in his mouth? So yeah, where is she staying?
Put it in your mouth.
She's staying at the Soggy Boot Inn.
When I become queen, I am renaming the establishments here.
It has a long history.
I don't care.
It was sung about in lore.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna head to the Soggy Boot, Keith. In that time frame.
All right, to track her down.
Knowing like so because this is in the past, right? So knowing that that she's like the biggest competitor, the most likely to end towards the end of the competition here, I'm gonna single her out. Plus, we bumped, and I remember her vaguely, so it's twofold. I'm trying to figure out who the heck this person is.
You bumped in a PG fashion.
Yeah, we literally bumped into each other.
All right, you arrive at the Soggy Boot Inn, which is a rough and tumble establishment in the outskirts of the baking district. Anytime there's this is where like the baker's apprentices get drunk.
Okay, of course.
So there's a lot of hubbub and commotion going on in here, and a lot of people drinking away their woes because they just lost all these contracts, right? So there's a bunch of apprentices who are, for cartoon reasons, wearing their aprons that are covered in flour and frosting and whatnot. And then at the bar itself sits a figure in a gray cloak, drinking alone.
Wesley's not the smoothest boy, but he is going to do his best. And are there any other vampiric guards around? Or is it just her?
No, it's just her.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, then I'm going to sidle up to her at the bar and summon my biggest big boy voice and order a drink as well at the bar, and then just sort of sit next to her and say, there isn't there isn't actually a lot of people, like you and I here in the city.
She turns and glances at you, and has this just kind of icy, biting glare. And she's like, What do you think you're doing here, traitor?
I don't actually know. I work for the kingdom?
The Queendom.
That's what I said. You misheard me. Yeah, I work for the Queendom. I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't you remember that you were supposed to be helping take down the Queendom?
Literally no.
They've broken you that far?
I don't have any memory of before being part of the Queendom. But I have a talking bow and arrow, so...
She glances down at it. It's like...
It, like, starts to talk, and he, like, covers the mouth and puts it back in.
Well, I suppose that's a pretty enough leash.
I don't know what that means either.
There's still a chance, Wesley.
A chance for what?
You could leave them. You don't have to fight for them.
But where else would I go?
Join
house?
us.
Who is us?
The Hyperwoods. We're taking this planet.
What are you guys gonna do?
What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like
What are you guys gonna do?
like...
Oh.
I'm confused. Keith is confused.
He meant, what are you, the Hyperwoods, going to do?
No.
But it sounded like she was like, what are we going to do? And I was like, oh. Yes.
I'm going to win this tournament.
Yeah, but then what? You just get a crown.
And then we are at the center of the city, at the point that we need to be to open the rift, destroy Numeria, and then nothing is standing in our way of taking all of Umdaar.
But why?
Why?
Yeah, why do you want all of Umdaar? It's pretty okay where it is.
Because the universe is ours to conquer.
Oh. If I come with you, can my friends come?
They'll have to, of course, be made into vampires.
I don't know that they're going to be super opposed to that. I'll ask them. Yeah. Oh, so if we're going to be on the same side, is there anything that I should tell Vesper to throw the fight? Because she's great at punching holes in stuff, even people. So...
I don't think that I'll have any problem defeating her.
Are you sure?
She's all cocky.
We've had to hire like 36 carpenters to fix the doors she's punched in things.
Well, I'll keep that in mind.
She almost killed a guy. She punched him right off the thing.
But Queen Sidus certainly has very little faith in her own daughter, so much so that she threw this whole tournament in order to replace her.
Yeah, but she had her daughter away from it because she knew that if she was in the tournament, she'd win.
Well, we'll see about that. I mean, after all, it was supposed to be you winning this tournament.
Oh, really? What was I going to do? Was that like a secret trick?
You were a little more fit back in those days.
That's rude.
Ouch!
Yikes.
Vampire burn.
The sun. I don't have to take this from you. And he takes his drink and like drinks it down and then makes a yucky grimace and then slides it back across the bar. I'm leaving. I'll consider your offer. And then he leaves. And then he starts to walk out of the soggy boot. Is that what this is called?
Yes, the soggy boot.
For now until I rename it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Along the way, you catch sight of something strange happening in the alley.
Okay.
There is one of these apprentice bakers who looks as if he had stolen a bit of cake from the bakery that he works at, and was in a fit of drunkenness, in the way that cartoon characters can get drunk, and you're like, as adults, yeah, that person's definitely drunk, but as kids, maybe not really clear what's going on. But this person's passed out in the alley. But there is one of the rift weavers, one of those like metallic spider-like creatures that is dragging his unconscious form into like a tiny little crack in reality into the Hyperwoods, and is dragging this form, and clutched in his hand is like a little plate with a mitt full of like cake that he had plucked from a handful of cake that he had stolen.
Okay. Can I stop this thing from happening?
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to, like, it's down an alleyway, right? And like no one's around? Besides the unconscious guy?
Yeah.
Cool, yeah, I'm just going to shoot this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, screw that spider. No, thank you.
Give me a roll.
Yeah, so I have Living Bow, so I have a weapon that adapts and learns when I enter a conflict with an opponent I have faced before, which I have. I immediately gain a boost based on my prior experience. And I believe my bow is clever or careful, so I'm going to roll a clever, and I'm going to aim for, it's like, unarmored underbelly, and give this a shoot. I don't remember what bonus does, but two successes.
A boost?
Yeah, I don't remember what a boost does.
It gives you +2.
Oh, cool, so that's a 4.
Excellent. All right, the arrow pierces into its in between the chitinous metallic plates of its underbelly, and the creature squeals in a strange abrasive sound similar to a fax machine, and then it's scuttling into this rift, lets go of this person, and is running away, unless you were planning to capture it or whatnot.
No, I'm going to walk over to the unconscious person, and then I'm going to pick up the cake. And then there's like an awkward scene where like you just see Wesley looking at the cake, and then looking at the man, and then the cake, and the front of the alley, and then the cake, and the man, and then he like sighs and dumps the cake on the ground and just kind of mushes it with his foot.
As you're looking at the man, you see a corner of drool move down dribble of drool down the corner of his mouth, and it glistens silver.
Hell yeah!
With that strange silver poison that you guys had.
Did we ever get to the bottom of the poison? Did we catch anybody with it?
The like vampire royal guards, kind of a leader among them was ensuring that it was the secret ingredient in all the cakes being baked.
Yeah, but we didn't actually get our hands on any samples, right?
Well, you do now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I'm gonna take this guy, I'm gonna and slowly bring him back to the castle as we go, so that people can be like, doctor. I'm sure there's a doctor here somewhere.
Of course.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Does anybody else have a scene plan, a thought in mind, or something they wanted to have accomplished?
No, just mostly punching.
Punching.
That's pretty much it.
All right, the day of the final round of the tournament, the day of cake. The Great Cakening is a gloomy, cloudy day. The crowds are gathered. We have the tournament is underway, and everybody is really excited about this last round. So we see Vesper climbing up the side of one of the pillars, and we see Mysteria climbing up the opposite pillar, and the queen is kind of doing her royal announcements and whatnot of this is a very important day for the Queendom of Numeria. Whoever wins this battle, may she be the strongest and rule over the queendom in the years to come. And as soon as she finishes the speech, Mysteria takes the hood of her cloak and pulls it back. And Vesper, the face that you see across from you is not a face that you would have expected to see. In fact, it's totally a shock because the face is your sister's, Evensong.
Well, that's weird.
Which doesn't make any sense because she's in a prison.
Also, your boy smooched her.
Yeah, I'm actually more concerned about that one.
Yes. Well.
Yikes, dog.
So,
Yikes.
How do you react to this?
With my sister, boy.
Listen, I like older ladies.
But down at the ground, I assume you guys, Mike and Kai, you guys are at the bases of these pillars, like.
Yeah, and there's like
watching.
that weird moment, right, where we see the hood go back, and like under his breath, Poppy just hears, "I kissed her sister," and then he just doesn't acknowledge. He he has that second of like, I was out loud, and then he just like looks slightly to the side of Poppy.
But Poppy, you notice something.
Oh shit!
Because the daughter of an illusionist can recognize the characteristic signature of her mother's own magic at work, and you know that there is some kind of disguise spell at work here, and that with the arcane mark, so to speak, of your mother, right?
So I think that he kissed my mom.
Wow, we just got real weird here. I know he said he liked older women, however.
My mom?
No, your mother has cast some kind of disguise spell on this Mysteria to make her look like Evensong.
Oh.
Because
okay.
As she pulls back the hood and the audience sees that it's Evensong, like there's just this uproar of excitement, right? That she's been in disguise all along, and they're like, it's the prodigal daughter who's returned and who was lost to us, right?
It's gonna be real weird when about you. Oh
god. Wesley, as weird as what you just said, everything you just said, that's not her sister.
Oh, thank the Hyperwoods. Oh,
It's
that was gonna be so much
girl
more
you were
exciting.
talking to or whatever.
I was talking to a girl?
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't know. I haven't met her. Which one? Playa.
No, I was talking to her. I know.
Ugh.
Yeah, she had a hood on, though. I didn't know it was Vesper's sister. I didn't know it was Evensong.
Well, the face that you saw when you bumped into her was not Evensong's face.
Oh, I see. I thought she had a hood on and I couldn't see her actual face. I just saw her skin tone.
Yeah, like most of the time she has been, yeah.
Yeah.
You just go telling secrets to people where you can only see their skin tone.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I didn't tell any secrets. I just said she told me her secrets that were trying to take over the city.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
I just said I'll take my friends with me.
I think my mom is helping your friend.
Oh, but why?
No clue. She must be in on it.
Can you stop her in the middle of the fight?
Like turn her back into herself?
Yeah, or just make your mom stop casting spells on her, right? Because if everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's Evensong," and then all of a sudden it's not Evensong, they're gonna be pretty mad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can go look around, see if I can find dear old mom.
I'll come.
All right.
I'll ride Bullet, and he like hops on. It's like thorax.
Do you not think she'll see us coming with Bullet? Maybe we should tie him up and leave him.
Oh,
behind.
you're right. That makes way more sense.
All right, so the way this is going to go down, we've done a challenge before, so I have to get mechanical with you guys for a second. But so we've done a challenge before, which was the best whoever wins in a like 3 best out of 3, right?
Sure.
And ties create like a twist where the situation changes a little bit. So we're going to do a challenge as far as the fight is concerned. It's going to be a 5-round challenge, right? So we're gonna and we're gonna use this as an opportunity to like get all cinematic with it in the description, right? Because it isn't so much that you're just pummeling each other until you run out of hit points. It's like you're trying to knock the other person onto the ground. So with that in mind, you can, Natalie, you can either be like rolling an overcome or an attack or whatever you want to describe it as, but in order to check towards victory, right? Or you could be creating an advantage, which could be narratively many different things, right? Getting the correct footing or like overwhelming them with a forward assault or whatever. So that, and we're going to be going in initiative order, and the other players are also going to be involved in something going on, right? Because we think that we have an illusionist in our midst to track down. So everyone is going to go in an initiative, but obviously interfering with the match could be costly. So that's not to say that you guys probably couldn't do some kind of creating an advantage, but you'll have to be sneaky about it in order to create an advantage for Vesper if you wanted to do that. Does that help clarify?
Yes.
You guys know what's going on? All right.
I say yes. Give me like 5 minutes.
Okay. I'll answer questions if they come up.
Okay.
When they come up.
When they come up, yeah.
Not if.
All right. The joust begins with a pop from the royal barge. Several like rifleers raise their really shoddy black powder muskets because, of course, there's fantasy gun control laws and this. Oh, I guess we got lasers and stuff. Wasn't there lasers?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So never mind.
I mean, there was lasers mounted on wolf heads, so I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, God, laser wolves. I forgot.
I created this awesome thing. Oh yeah.
Actually, Dave Juria created it. They're gloriously illustrated in the Masters of Umdaar book. Yeah, the round is initiated by the howl of some Numerian wolves from the top deck. They howl, a pack of them howl all in unison, and the battle begins. Are
these cards correct? These aspects?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
okay.
I need to put the aspects out there.
Please.
Stall for me for a second, you guys.
Cool. So while Keith is preparing, so Poppy and Wesley are sort of maneuvering and weaving as quickly and quietly through the crowd to get to, I assume this is like a coliseum almost, right? And so like in central locations are those booths for like royalty or guests or that kind of thing. So despite her pending legal charges, Poppy's mom is still, she is still in fact royalty. So she would be in one of these booths, I imagine. And we're slowly trying to like weave our way through the Romanesque like stands as we make our way around this Coliseum towards this specific booth. 'Cause I assume there's a couple of them dotted around, right? Where there's like one guy with like a giant feather duster sort of thing causing a breeze or something, and then when he does, sparkles come out of it, and so we'd be making our way towards there so we can get closer to her mother to like see if like a la Harry Potter she's casting some spell work constantly and we can put a stop to her with
perfect
fire.
And actually Wesley is the first on the initiative with the highest quickness, so you can give me a some kind of like a perception-esque roll, however you approach it. Careful, clever.
Yeah. I'm going to go with clever, right? Because I've seen Poppy cast spells, right? And usually there's some kind of, like, component to it, right? Either she says some kind of magical word, whether that's for show or not, or she does some, like, dazzly hand maneuver, right? So in his mind, there's some kind of theatrical component to spell casting. So he's going to be looking for her, the mother, and seeing if there's anything that she's doing that's weird.
Okay.
So I'll give you a clever roll. 1. A 1.
Ooh, okay.
That's a 2. Ooh.
That weird. Why does my thing stall like that? I don't
just
get
you.
it.
That's slow. That's
Always
slow.
really funny.
Slow burn. Is it a GM thing that they're like?
Yeah, psych.
All right, you can use a fate point and invoke an aspect in order to get a +2.
I don't think I have anything that applies here. And these ones definitely don't apply to me on the board here.
Well, the fate of Numeria lies on this match.
Shoot.
Yeah, I feel called out by some of these aspects. I just want to put that out there.
You feel what?
Called out. Fate of
Called
Numeria lies on this match and under the judging eyes of the queen.
Yeah.
Jeez. No pressure.
Ooh, I should make one about sisters, huh?
Rude.
I'm gonna this is pulling out of my ass. So I have an aspect called memories give me power, right? So my memory is based on Poppy, right? It's having adventured with Poppy for what I assume to be weeks of time here, watching her cast spells. So I'm using that knowledge to try to find any subtle detail in Mama Seda over here.
Okay, I bought it.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to spend a fate point. I'm going to drop this guy over here, and that gives me a 3.
Excellent. Yes, indeed. In the midst of one of these royal balconies, in the midst of all this kind of like turkey legs, like 6-legged turkey with all these legs and all kinds of feasting going on, and of course Princess Pylia and her retinue of other gelatinous princesses are all in the midst of gorging themselves. And looming in the background behind them is a figure who's rolling a crystal orb around in her hand, and doing like a bit of sneaky twitching finger movements.
Okay. Yeah, Wesley will immediately point that situation to Poppy. There's someone doing magic.
Yeah, that's my mom.
Oh, well, she's doing it right now.
Oh, well, we should try to stop her.
Why are you making fun of me? I don't know how magic works. I shoot things with arrows. I'm pretty sure you don't want me to shoot your mom.
No,
Okay.
Don't shoot my mom.
Okay, then you fix this.
Do I go now, or do I wait till my clever turn?
Yeah, wait till your turn's coming up. It was Mysteria is next. So Mysteria whirls the as Princess Evensong, as everyone believes.
I do want it to be known that as soon as she was revealed to be Princess Evensong, anybody could, because Vesper is not very good at being quiet either, if we've noticed. She says, trying to say it under her breath, "Oh, cake butt, this is awkward." Because she is going to start coining cake butt as her go-to.
Cake butt.
Yup.
That was my favorite part of a series of unfortunate events. Is the one girl that would call everyone cake sniffers. Killed me every time.
So she says, like, kind of under her breath, "Save it, sister," and raises her. I don't even know what the hell those things are called. I guess they're like lances. Yeah,
they're big Q-tip things.
Yeah,
Pugil sticks.
Pugil sticks. These are power pugil sticks. For reasons. She raises it in the air and like whirls it and does this like kind of crazy maneuver. It's a showy thing to rile up the audience, to get the audience on her side, right?
Ooh, she's hella flashy.
Ooh. All right, so she's created an advantage for herself that the crowd is on her side, right? This is the way that fate goes, where you just have eventually a table full of like index cards everywhere. You're like, what can I do? But it's cool because they're all narrative, so they're all means something. But the next person up is going to be Vesper.
Cool. I'm not a fan of this. So I'm going... So Vesper's kind of like... It's not clicked into her, obviously. Like, there's magic at play, so she thinks it's Evensong, and she's, like, mentally like, but I left you in a jail cell. This is awkward. And this is not how I expected this to go. And when she doesn't know what to do, Vesper punch. So she's gonna take this giant baton of whatever it is. Pugil stick, thank you.
Power Pugil stick.
Power Pugil stick. And she is just going to try to, like, basically, as she has done for most of this competition, force her opponent off the thing.
Cool. And you're doing a forceful.
Oh, I'm doing a very forceful roll. And the first time you forcefully attack in a conflict, add +3 to your roll.
Yes.
Using my power gauntlet.
Sweet. What does that look like?
So it's kind of like... Oh no! The first thing that came to my brain was like Dragon Ball Z Kamehameha. Yes. But it's kind of like, so she pulls back, and it's literally like a stab that she does with this thing. But you see kind of like this glittery, glimmery energy kind of flow around it. Not that she can do magic. This is just like the glitter powder that she normally wears. That's kind of like vibrating off of her at this point. That creates that cloud. Oh yeah, no. She actually also has like glitter chalk dust somewhere off to the side that she totally like dipped both ends in before going into battle.
Yes, I love
I want
it.
it to be known. And so, which is also like she's covered in it too, because that's just how she thinks she needs to be. Because I mean, chalking up, it's a better grip on the stick at this point too. And so she just kind of like pulls back, readies herself, steadies herself, and then thrusts it at her in this very strong, very focused attack.
Sweet. All right, give me a forceful roll, and you'll get a +3 from your power gauntlets.
So that's a 4 plus the 3. It'll be a total of 7.
Dang. Okay. I'm rolling. She is defending forcefully.
Yeah. Coming right at her.
Ooh. All right. So you succeeded with style. Though I think I am going to invoke.
No.
I'm going to invoke something.
Why? Sounds awful. Sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, there's no need for that.
There's no need for that, Keith. Come on.
Well, she is the crowd. She's the crowd favorite. So for a moment, you stab at her, and there's a bit of like the way that like swords clash or whatever. You got your pugil sticks like connected, and you guys are like groaning. Muscles are bulging and glitter floats about the air. But then the roar of the crowd seems to like really give her some confidence. But in that you take advantage of that moment and manage to knock her back, and she stumbles backwards and narrowly manages to catch herself at the edge of the platform. But you do mark a success for Vesper. And so this will be a best of 5, right? And you get 2 successes if you get a succeed with style, right?
Okay.
So that was in my best interest to keep that from happening. So
No, it's not. I don't know what you're talking about.
Keith's cheating, clearly.
I'm cheating. I'm a cheater.
Keith.
There is no cheating when you're a GM.
That's true.
All right, Poppy is up. You have been you've spotted your mother in the balcony.
Awkward.
Is there only one exit to the balcony?
Besides jumping off of it, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna talk to her. I'm gonna let her know I'm there. Hi, Mother. You look well.
What are you doing here, Poppy?
I think it's more important to ask what you're doing here.
I'm in the midst of something very important and would prefer not to be distracted at this point.
I'm going to stand in front of her.
in the way that you always used to when the circus performances were happening in the Queendom.
Make a better door than a window kind of TV kid thing. Like, get out of the way.
No, but Mom, I'm a circus performer. Like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
No, you're not. Not yet, at least. All right. So your goal is to like distract her.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, then I don't know, tie her up or something.
Okay. Okay, cool. Give me a roll and however you're thinking of approaching this, like if you're doing it quickly or if you're doing it flashily by like using some kind of magic or just being up in her face.
Can I just be clever by distracting her?
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
3.
All right. And I think that in this instance, it would make sense to be careful or clever in defending. Clever. Okay. Audience says
0.
Ooh, all right. Succeed with style here. All right. So we're creating I think this is creating an advantage against Queen Zinnia that she's distracted. Does that seem right?
Yes.
Yeah. So then you can invoke that basically to like get a bonus on whoever's rolling against an attack that she's making or a move that she's doing, right? It like will give her a -2 kind of thing.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Cool. I always want to make sure that I'm interpreting everything in the way that other people are. Okay. The next person is back up to the top and actually is going to Queen Zinnia. All right. I think... oh, and I need a thing. Sorry. Roll 20. Okay. She is like irritated by the situation of her daughter cleverly getting up in her business and distracting her. And so she is casting she's casting a spell on you. I think she's like kind of blasting you with some kind of light in order to like shoo you away, right?
Bitch.
Actually, maybe that's not so well. I think she's doing this. You know that your mother is sneaky. Is kind of her highest approach, and you also know that she's careful and quick. She's careful because she's a diviner, right? But she's always kind of like sneakily used her knowledge of the future and whatnot to always be a step ahead. So she starts to like back away from you and look like she's trying to like get in a angle where you're not in the way, and then like under her cloak like blasts you with some sparkle magic, which is you can roll against. So she's doing sneaky.
Welcome to Princesses of Skysea, where we all have mommy issues, apparently.
And I'm sorry, I realized in that moment with Remora that I was like, oh my god, I made another person, like I forced straightness on another character in this, and that was not my intent.
Oh, it's okay. I play straight characters. You're fine. 8. Can we talk about the 8? Don't try to distract us, Keith.
Oh, what was that all about?
Yeah, Keith, what the heck? What's going on, buddy?
And this is an attack. She's like assaulting you, like by blasting you.
Rude.
Yeah, she's a nasty mom.
What is up with these moms?
I know.
God, we have mommy issues for sure.
So give me a defense of some kind, Kai. You could whatever approach you think would make sense, like quick, I could definitely see, or clever, if you actually saw it coming and were cleverly defending.
Okay, I'll try clever. I feel like I would be watching my mom pretty closely with that one.
Yeah, it was a big roll.
You have like 9 aspects you can put into play.
Yeah, so consider, because it's an attack, you're going to have to take shifts of stress like you're gonna have to take stress equal to the level of the attack, right?
Yeah. So I can use. Let's see. I'm gonna use. Can I use advantage on my own self that she's distracted for myself?
Yes, totally.
Yeah, I want to use that one.
Okay, so we use that, and that'll get you up to 3. This gives you +2.
Oh gosh, that's still 5.
What about your own aspects that are on your sheet?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have afraid of responsibility as one of my aspects, but could I be like realizing that my mom is kind of a dick and that I would be a better ruler than her? I'm coming into my own with the responsibility and learning how not to be afraid of it.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I bought it.
Okay.
How to not be a dick 101.
Yes. Yeah.
You're learning firsthand.
Don't hit your kid.
Yeah.
That's 101.
Yeah, don't shoot your kids at sparkle magic.
Yes, seriously.
Yeah. So that gets me up to 4.
A 5.
That'll be
A 5.
Yeah.
How many am I allowed to use?
As many as you want.
Yeah, as many as you want, as long as you don't use the same one twice in the same roll. But at this point, it's just 3 shifts, so you could just check your 3 box on your stress, and it's not like devastating. It certainly hurts.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
A lot less than 7 would.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm good with that.
Awesome. So she says something along. She's like, "You're interfering in matters that are, beyond your understanding," and blast you. And you were cleverly like aware of her movements, and so you're able to, dodge out of the way, but still get a glimmer blast across the side of the face. Yeah.
I hope I have a cool scar after that.
Yes, that just always glimmers. It just always shines. And now we're at Wesley.
Cool. So, Queen Zinnia is not aware of Wesley, right? Because, there's a big show of magical nonsense happening in front of her. And there's clearly gooey princesses and princes all around.
Yes, they're all screaming and jiggling, and food is getting kind of smattered all over the place.
Jello. So I'm going to do a little sneak. I'm going to sneak up behind Queen Zinnia, and I'm a biter. I'm going to learn your secrets, crazy lady.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And she's not a vampire, so that is...
Yeah.
Thanks for not licking my mom.
Yeah, no, she's getting straight... Listen, I can't chew on rocks, okay?
Thanks for not making it weird.
To be fair, I only licked the rock. Everything else I ate.
I was going to say, you did eat a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So.
I was gonna say...
Vampires drain from their mouths. That's just what it is.
And in your defense, eating the rock would have just been bad for your stomach.
Yeah, and my teeth.
So I mean, especially your teeth.
So she's getting a bite.
Cool. Yeah, give me a sneaky approach.
So memory vampire uses careful.
Ooh, okay.
Careful or clever. So I think here's how I'm going to describe this, right? Because she's distracted and casting she's channeling magic, blasting her daughter. Her daughter's talking to her. There's a whole familial thing. I'm going to wait and choose my opportunity to sneak up on her, when she's like ziminy, bow, and then hits Poppy, and that's when I'm gonna pounce. So I'm gonna wait like a cat, and then I'm gonna pounce on her. So that's my clever thing, because I'm not good at actually sneaking. I'm wearing a bright red cloak.
Cool. Well, okay, so you could totally go that route. You could potentially, if you're into it, you could use this turn to create an advantage with sneak, in order to be I'm hidden. And approaching, and then that could give you a +2 on your attack roll in a subsequent round. Or I'm totally cool with what you pitched as well.
I think I'm going to do the clever, and then worst case scenario, I'll activate the distracted thing, because she is quite that.
Okay, cool. And yeah, the distracted is going to stick around, but you guys will have to pay for it to use it in the future, because it is an aspect, unless she makes a roll to conquer it. But
so, clever roll. Kapow! 5.
Ooh, okay. And clever, you're biting her. I think probably clever in response.
Sure.
Or careful.
Or forceful, right? Because I'm biting her. I'm jumping onto her.
I think. Ooh, maybe quick.
Ooh.
Yeah, like she senses
it coming and dodges out of the way.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Drum roll. She is. That's doable.
I'm activating the aspect, and I'm using. She's distracted.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Pay a fate token.
Yep.
All right. I am going to activate.
No. Nothing, Keith.
I am going to spend a fate token as well, and I'm going to invoke her high aspect of Satyr Divine. Actually, well, her high aspect is Satyr Diviner Queen, but I like this aspect of always 2 steps in the future.
Okay.
So she kind of saw it coming in her crystal orb or whatnot.
Okay, I see your game, Keith. I'm going to spend another fate point. Suck it, Keith.
Yes.
And I am going to activate, you know what? It turns out it's been a while since I licked that rock. And I'm hungry, and as we all know, memories give me power. So I'm going to invoke the aspect memories give me power.
Yes, I bought it. I love it.
I am also famished.
Cool. All right, so you sneak up behind her. She you see a reflection of you in the crystal ball, and you your eyes lock, reflecting.
Yeah,
in
we
the crystal
see each
ball.
other's eyes through the ball. Yeah.
And then she starts to dodge out of the way, but you're so hungry that you.
Yeah, she dodges because she thinks I'm gonna cut the torso, and then I just go low and I'm gonna bite her leg.
Cool. All right, and you get a memory, huh?
Yeah, so I get a memory and I get a +2 advantage. So it creates a memory that creates an advantage.
Okay, cool. Let's see. You get a memory of Queen Zinnia meeting with in a shadowy forest. She's in kind of a secretive, absconded meeting, and she's very nervous. And this figure emerges from the forest that is mantis-like, is a shadowy form of a mantis, and is "At last you've come, mortal. Are you sure this is what you wish? To side with the Hyperwoods here and now?" And Queen Zinnia says, "It is as we agreed, that what remains of the world of Umdaar and not pulled into the Hyperwoods shall be mine to rule."
Ooh, shit. Okay. So
mommy issues.
So if we have
seriously.
If we have a new aspect here, unless you have an idea for it, Keith, I'm gonna submit Drunk with Power.
Drunk with Power, I love it. It's perfect.
I like it.
And we'll get a free invoke on that, huh?
Yeah. And I think that goes to not Evensong in the next round of combat.
Oh, yes, not Evensong. Mysteria or Evensong. Who knows? Or Remora. I guess there's 3
That's
names.
true, yeah.
Jeez. Too many names.
I'm sorry. It's a tangled web. Excellent. All right, so you just smashed her. So yeah, she makes a maneuver to grab hold of your pugil stick and yank it from your hand. So she's trying to create an advantage.
Just trying to steal my stick.
Yeah. All right, and that is going to be forceful.
Freaking rude.
Yeah, it is rude. That's what that is.
Or is this? I think this is going to be quick.
Okay.
That seems to make more sense.
That makes sense.
5. Okay. So Vesper, what do you defend with?
She's just Vesper has kind of been hunkered down and holding because she very much stabilized her body when she made her last attack. So her body's still in that kind of state. So she's got a firm grip on this. So I'm going with forceful. She is just by pure strength of will, she is trying to hold on.
Yes. Awesome.
Damn.
Sweet. Excellent.
I am holding tight to this. This may be tug of war, but I'm taking this.
Ooh. Man, I don't have my thing on what fails. I can fail my action or succeed at a major cost. Yeah, I think the action will just be failed. Yeah. So she was reaching for your stick, like tried to yank it, and you managed to like hold on to her for a second and then yank it back from her hands. Yeah. Excellent. And now is your turn.
Good. Been thinking this through a little too much. So having just pulled back my stick, I am going to, I think I'm going to try to create an advantage. I'm actually going to use it to, I'm going to use my stick to, I'm doing this mostly so that if I need to invoke an aspect, I totally know which one I'm going to do. I'm actually going to try to push the narrow pillar that she's standing on to see if I can't shake it or wobble it or even break it.
Yeah, I think you could totally use your door.
Yeah, my super
ability.
strong.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I also, the narrow pillars above a burrowing crowd, I'm going to abuse that if I have to too. So
yes.
I'm
awesome.
like thinking how far I need to stack this. So,
Perfect. I love it.
Okay, so forceful to make it happen. That's a 6.
Wow.
Dang. Okay, so you're busting the pillar out from under her.
Basically, yeah. Because then she won't have as much space to move. She won't be able to get much closer to me. It's going to make it very difficult for her. It's like, and hell, she might fall.
Yeah. Okay. I think she's going to defend quickly. My shtick is that she's hopping. Well, also you can like outcome surge this. I feel like, right?
I think I can.
Okay. Well, we'll wait till I roll.
Yeah.
I should have rolled and then talked because of the delay. But all right. Yeah. So you got it. I think I'm gonna invoke. The crowd favorite though, like she hops backwards and you knock this pillar, a huge crack is forming in it. And the crowd is like roaring and giving her enough kind of confidence to manage to possibly escape, unless you're going to use something in response. You guys are tied at this point.
Yeah. My thought was going to be okay, because when it comes down, so she's trying to jump back to, there's another kind of pillar behind her that she's able to jump to?
Yeah, I didn't actually explain, but I had 6 little aspect tokens like arrayed out there, and the idea is that there's 6 pillars, but you could be busting them.
Okay. So if I've busted one of them, can I have done it in such a way that I'm trying to use that narrow pillars above a roaring crowd? That like even some of the debris that kind of comes off that may like knock her off guard, and so like she's still getting kind of toppled and like she's still getting knocked aside in a way.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, and use a fate token.
Yep.
And we'll say, oh geez, these layers.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's like right here, and.
Oh, I see. That's where we are.
Yeah, okay. I didn't get to that. And you're right there. Sure. All right, cool. So you're beating her by 2?
Yeah.
Cool. I think I will just take that. All right. So this pillar, you smash it, and like it starts to crack, and the whole like top part of this is busting off, and debris is like flying in the air, and she leaps backwards. With skill, you've seen her use this kind of move in the previous battles that she had, where she just like does the Alucard like back step and then lands on the pillar behind her. So she's trying to be all smooth and casual about it, but the spray of like debris and the speed, the like forcefulness of you busting up this pillar was like so more fast than she was prepared for. So you could tell that she lands off balance on her and backpedaling, and then and actually falls like onto her butt. And like manages barely like loses grip of the Pugil stick, but then manages to grab it before it falls off the edge and is like scrambling to get back up.
Good.
So we mark a success on your part.
Is that the first one?
No, second.
Oh, the second one. Right.
All right.
2-0 right now. I need more succeeding with style. That's the problem.
Yeah, need more
Ruined that one
advantages.
for me.
All right, Poppy is up.
Okay.
Wesley's feasting on your mother at the moment.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Amazing. Can I just?
Nope.
Sorry, excuse me. Feeding.
Not better.
Draining her memories.
There we go.
There we go. That's better. I want to use my illusion magic and like make the ropes, any ropes that are like within, I don't know, 50 feet of us, just like slither like snakes along the walls and along the floor and just kind of like slither to her and start wrapping around her to try to like grapple her.
Cool. That sounds cool.
And
All
I'm gonna do that cleverly.
Ooh,
if I didn't already say that.
All right. I think she's defending.
And I'm not very good at it, so I'm gonna be trained in the circle to get a plus to that.
I'm sorry, Kai. I think she's quickly reacting to this. I should be using careful because she's a diviner, but it's actually the same number, so we'll say it was careful. So she's at a 3, and you're using a fate point to get to a 2.
Yeah, and then I also want to use.
Well, I would say you could invoke Drunk with Power, but I'm struggling to see how you would know about that.
I mean, she could still use the distracted thing.
Yes, yeah, you'd have to pay for it.
Yeah, I'll use that and pay for it.
Okay.
So I'm down to 2 fate tokens.
No, you're down
Me
to 3.
too.
You're down to 3. The first time you used distracted, it was free.
Oh, okay. Down to 3.
Mike's looking out for you.
Yeah, he is.
I didn't notice, but
He just wants my mom.
wants more memories.
I like older ladies. What is it? It turns out to Wesley's big secret.
Mom's a cougar.
It's now in canon. It's fine.
Yep.
All
Well,
right,
I mean,
so
to be fair, Wes is a vampire, so he's immortal. So of course he likes older living
Well,
women.
age doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Age is irrelevant at this point.
So it sounds like you're creating an advantage against her, right?
Yeah.
Like you're binding her.
Yep, I am. Mm-hmm.
Also sounds like we're creating a dating profile for Wesley. This has really become a dating sim this whole time.
He's into older women and rope binding.
It turns out the real treasure was the dates I had along the way.
Oh no. All right, she is entangled, and you succeeded just by a small amount, correct?
Yeah,
By
one.
yeah.
Okay, so we'll get one token on that. Huzzah!
Huzzah.
Huzzah! My neat and organized little Roll20 board here.
Beautiful.
There's a few things going on. So these are they illusory, or are you actually like magically controlling the ropes to make them?
No, I want to magically control them to make them look like that.
Cool. Okay. So the ropes are like so many snakes wrapping around your mother's legs and twining and entangling her, and she's like struggling to break free of it. Awesome. Perfect. The crowd, meanwhile, is roaring and shouting, and we actually see out of the corner of I guess who would see this? Bullet sees it now. And conveys it.
What a random.
Nothing's going on. In any case, back to the top. Queen Zinnia, oh my gosh, is got a lot going on here, huh? Entangled, drunk with power, distracted. I think she is gonna use her turn to try and create a vanish kind of illusion in order to try and escape you guys. So that is going to be sneaky. And I think, that's a big roll. I think Wesley, since you have her like in your grasp, I think you're the one that would defend against this. And
okay, what is she trying to do?
She is like casting a like an invisibility, like a vanish kind of spell in order to try and escape. Yeah.
Okay. Shit. All right, I'm gonna defend with quick to quickly stop her. Actually, you know what I'd like to do for my quick defense? I know this is kind of a bit of a more offense thing, but if I see her casting a spell, I want to quickly knock that orb out of her hand. Is my goal, right?
Cool.
So,
okay.
Quick. Not good. Off to a bad start.
Well, you got a lot of aspect tokens on the board too.
I do, yeah. So I'm gonna use, I'm gonna get the free invoke off of Drunk with Power, right? Because she is clearly cocky and confident that we don't stand a chance against her. So I'm gonna get a free invoke off that one, and that makes me to 4. And then, shit. And then
she is entangled.
I'm gonna burn my last 2 fate points. I have to at this point.
She's entangled too. You could use the entangled.
Oh, is that a free one? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So I'll use the free invoke on entangled. Sorry, Kai, I'm stealing your invoke there. So I'll use that free one. That brings me to a 6, and then I will spend one of my fate points and use. I think it's called Vampire Master at Arms. Vampire Man at Arms. Because I'm quick in a fight. Apparently I was way more buff back in the day, but for now, I'm still quick in a fight. So that puts me at a 9. Puts me at an 8.
All right.
I think that's how math works. 2 free invokes and then my invoke. Yeah. That's 8.
Yeah. Yell, I wish I had more fate points. I gave you guys too many fate points.
I mean, you have 2 left.
When we started the game. I know, but I got a lot going on.
So? You don't need them, Keith.
I guess so. I'll just throw them out.
Don't need them.
Yeah.
That's true. I can cheat and have numbers higher than your guys, so it balances out.
Yeah, seriously.
I saw that +5. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have 4s, right?
No, I have 3.
1 4.
1 4.
Because I put everything into force. That's all I've done.
True.
Okay, so you do manage to knock the orb out of her hand, and it clatters onto the floor of the balcony and starts rolling down these kind of tiered seating, these tiered steps, right? And it actually slides right into the form of one of the panicking gelatinous princesses and gets kind of sucked into the middle of the commotion of everything going on because reasons.
It just like slurps into her.
Yeah. And then it's just floating around.
Yeah. No, it's rude to take it out. That's just...
Yeah, seriously.
All right, dang. Queen Zinnia's not holding up too well. And actually, it is to Wesley now.
Oh, sweet. Did removing the orb break her concentration on the spell?
Yeah, the spell she was not able to pull off the vanish spell.
No, I mean the
face,
disguise, the face situation.
No.
Okay.
Well, in my defense, he was just defending.
Yeah, yeah.
You could break the spell. Like she's still doing the I had described the finger thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still convinced I'm not smart enough. I'm pretty quick, but not enough. I believe that it's the orb, right? The orb has something to do with it. Like this is her like focus, right? So I don't have to worry about queenly duties, and I'm gonna get that orb out of this gelatin royalty, this royal jelly, as it were.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to so she's bound up, right? She was already tipping over when she was trying to get out of the way, and then she was trying to vanish, so I just let her go, right? So hopefully she just falls, and I quickly scramble over, and I'm just going to reach in, grab the orb out of the jelly person, and then just chuck it into the into the Colosseum, and hopefully it'll shatter, right? So I'm going to use quick to do whatever that nonsense means. So
yeah, that sounds quick.
1.
Okay.
Fantastic.
I am gonna roll. This is gonna be the defense from Princess, one of the gelatinous princesses. In response to your,
perfect.
your very rude. Yes, yes, you succeed. Wrist deep in gelatinous goo, you yank free. There's no clean way to say this.
Oh, all right. Okay.
She or he, it's not even really clear.
Amorphous jelly.
Amorphous jelly person, yeah. Screams out and happen to have been holding some turkey legs and hurls them into the air and whatnot. And you yank this orb free and chuck it into the sky. And as we're all watching the orb fly into the sky, a crack of lightning streaks across the sky. But it is not so much that it's like a white light that lightning normally has, but it seems as if for a second it is a rip into the Hyperwoods that we're seeing.
Oh shit.
And then it vanishes. So it's like a crack of lightning that is a window into the Hyperwoods. Something is up. What is going on? And excellent. The orb's gone, hurled into the crowd, and Mysteria is up. She is. I didn't move her.
Bring it, sis.
But she jumped over here, and she is stumbling back to her feet and lashing out at you. So she's making
Bring it.
She's making an attack, a forceful attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it. Is that a 0 for Mysteria? No, there we go.
No, that was from before. That was the princess.
I was hopeful, okay,
or the prince. Who knows? It was
We don't know. It just happened.
The genderless goo.
Gender fluid.
Gender fluid.
Wow.
Yes. Beautiful.
Gender Newtonian fluid.
I love it. I'm gonna fight back. I'm not standing for this. I'm not standing still. I'm just gonna be back and being forceful because she's very much just trying to block whatever attack using her stick.
Cool.
Vesper only does things one way, and that's forceful.
Nice.
Tie.
A tie. Do you want to stick with the tie, which is a twist? It means nobody gets a success, but something is complication is introduced that is not good for either of you.
Screw it. Yeah, no, I'm gonna invoke Amazon Bodybuilder Barbie.
Well, I should clarify that succeeding isn't really gonna.
I just don't want a complication.
Yeah.
I go next.
Okay, but I wrote up complications for the event.
But I made them.
Do I look like? No, I'm trying to win this.
Okay, cool. You're gonna use
Vesper's not a complicated girl.
Okay, you're gonna use a
yeah.
fate token for bodybuilder. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
She's gonna stand strong. She's gonna use that bodybuilder body to like just stand strong, stand her ground, and not budge.
Yeah.
Like, from what the audience can tell, it looks like Vesper, her upper body is the only part of her that's moved. Her feet have been planted. It is impressive form for anybody watching.
Yes. Awesome. That actually gives me a thought of to describe this, that she basically does the like kung fu, like rolling on the ground thing, but with the pugil stick. So she's going for your legs, like across the pillars as she's like rising up to her feet. And so, yeah, you manage to evade that with some rooted legs or some fancy footwork.
The secret is Vesper used her like door making skills to grind her feet into the ground, so they're actually sunken in like 3 inches. Like she just sumo stomped.
Yes,
and just
close up moment of her bare feet, like the toes clenching into the.
And they're like
stone.
it's a couple inches in at this point too, because it's just I have made my spot. Kind of like you said, can a couch long enough? You get that like the butt groove.
Yeah.
This is like her foot groove of just they are there.
Yes.
I just see like a hot pink Toph from Avatar. It's just fucking beautiful sticks.
Yes, Toph's the best. And actually, Natalie, you're up.
Exactly, which is why I didn't want a complication. Even if you spent so much time without this.
I spend so much time on everything. So.
Okay. She is straight up just gonna she's got herself planted. She's kind of very much focused in the zone, and while Mysterious tried to get up, she's just gonna kind of upswing the stick, so kind of uppercuts her almost in the face. Is her current plan, using force.
Sweet. All right.
As she tends to. 7.
Dang.
Wow, shit.
Bring it.
Dang.
Are you gonna do anything? Are you doing anything?
I think
You
so.
only have 2
I got to.
Oh, bring it, because I'll do something with my back.
All right. I am using a stunt, but this is revealing a detail that might be interesting to you guys. So what was your description? You're like you're lashing out with your.
So she brings it up, like she pivots it in such a way as to like pull the power down on this side and bring it up, so it kind of uppercuts her in the face.
All right. So she's like stepping backwards, and in slow motion, the thing's about to hit her chin, and you see through the. Well, you don't know that it's an illusion, but the audience and the other characters do, right? Through the veil of the illusion, a thin, like glowing line, like a circlet, glows intensely on her forehead and seems to like she seems to radiate with some hidden energy, some hidden strength, and it gives her a +2 once a scene as it is invoked. And because Wesley happens to be staring off in this direction as the orb is flying, recognizes the thin outline of the crown as the crown of Umdaar. The
Also in the uni, buddy.
That's my crown.
That's exciting.
That's the
Guess what,
vampire
guys?
crown.
Guess what? All 3 crowns are like right here in this place right now.
Weird.
the law of convergence.
It's as if it's the second to last episode.
It's as if plot comes to a point.
I love it when plot comes to a point. Am I able to invoke an aspect to try to one-up
Yes.
that? Or,
Yeah,
cool.
totally.
Perfect. So kind of that, like, it still upswings, and then maybe so I'm going to try to use this one. I'm going to try to invoke Under the Judging Eyes of the Queen. Like, Vesper is kind of minorly panicked that she missed, and she can feel like her mom's eyes like glaring at her from behind her head, and she, in almost a panic, then swings it back down to try to actually hit her in the chest.
Yes. Okay. And what are you invoking?
I'm invoking Under the Judging Eyes of the Queen.
Ah,
So
cool.
the pressure that my mom is putting on this match and watching me, and like that kind of growing up with that pressure of her, kind of makes me react.
Love it.
Sweet. All right. You club her in the chin, or over the like side of the head after a whirl, and she stumbles down to her knees, and or actually her legs like go out over the open air, right? And she clings with like one hand to the edge of the pillar, and her other hand is holding onto the bugle stick, and she's like struggling to try and get back up onto it.
I have you right where I want you. That's Natalie more than Vesper at this point.
Or both.
Kind of both. Who are we kidding?
And that's fluff. You can't invoke that. It's not like an advantage or anything. That's just like
okay.
describing the way of the 5-point challenge. Yeah. All right.
Well, yeah, I'm like 3 successes in now.
Yeah, totally.
Playing a win here, guys.
All right, and back to Poppy.
So the illusion is still up, though, that it's Vesper's sister, right?
Yeah.
So I want to try to break that illusion.
Cool.
And I'm going to use sneaky because it's 5.
Ooh, all right, so you're breaking...
Well, it's not 5, it's 4, but I got 5.
Cool, okay. Let's see. She's defending with careful because she's carefully holding on to this spell. Ooh, but you could definitely pass her in that. So she's beating you by 1. You can invoke... definitely there are many like situational advantages that you have out here that you can pay a fate token to invoke. The fact that she's entangled or distracted all totally makes sense.
I'll do the entangled one.
Entangled, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so then you're at a 7. I am should I pay anything? Let me see. Okay, so I do have a stunt that I can activate in this situation of precognition that she once foreseen when she carefully defends against a trap or inanimate threat. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I took that thinking that the wording was different. Okay, you succeed. Scratch that. So you are breaking the enchantment, the illusion of Evensong on this Mysteria character, and so as she is like clinging to the pillar and looking out over the audience, you see a ripple of magic go across her face, and her face that basically no one in the audience recognizes is revealed. And I think this is narratively would totally make sense that the advantage of Evensong crowd favorite disappears, and instead the audience seems outraged and in a panic, and suddenly like just screaming and shouting and being like, what, you know, and there's a whole bunch of commotion in the crowd beneath. There's also cut to Queen Sidus looking very confused and frustrated, that like heartbroken that her
that
favorite daughter did not return.
Would that count as a success because her resolve is shaken by the current turning of the crowds?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. That's a good argument. Yeah, I mean, so like narratively, we're like, are you guys interacting with the other stuff going on, or are you interacting with the battle, right? And I think in this case, you interacted with the battle, right? And in its favor. So I totally bought it, Mike.
Hell yeah.
So mark a success. So things are looking good. Awesome. And your mother glowers at you and is like, Poppy, you have no idea what you're meddling with. We could have ruled this planet together. Go ahead.
Can I step on her hand while she's talking?
Yes.
Just like interrupt her. I don't even want to speak back to her. I just want to like step on her hand.
Dang. Yes. You step on her hand and the close up of her mouth going, ah! She screams out in pain. And pan to her wearing the very like elfin kind of leaf and branch shaped crown underneath the hood of her cowl.
Take the crown, take the crown.
Yeah, if I want to. Can I do that this turn, or do I have to wait?
Ooh, I think it would take an action because she's definitely gonna like defend against that. So
okay.
She doesn't deserve the crown.
The crowd is in a tizzy and shouting and screaming, and there seems like on the fringes of the crowd to be like a weird like protest march or something happening. And a glance in that direction, we see a baker strike, a baker riot happening.
Oh, jeez. Oh, goodness.
For reasons.
Yeah, of course.
And we come back to the top with Queen Zinnia, who, oof, man, y'all just took care of her. She is going to try and sneakily escape from this situation. She's doing attempting like another vanish kind of thing. Poppy, I think since you're right up on her, you might be able to stop her. Defending against this and whatever approach you feel would make sense.
Well, this isn't a good one, but I want to use forceful because
your finger, your hand, or your boot is on her fingers.
Yeah, I'm standing on her hand.
Cool. That sounds right.
Oh, two. Ooh.
You can invoke some stuff.
Oh, I'm gonna invoke.
You don't have
Vesper. Invoke Vesper.
Yeah. Wait, can I invoke Glitter Princess?
So here's the downside, Kai. You you have 2 more fate points, and if you invoke both of them, that gets you as even with her. So far you can't defeat her.
Well, is there any more of the advantages that she can use
There's
for free?
no more free advantages.
Jeez.
So I pretty much have to let her have this one?
Yeah, she's not going to be like totally gone. She's going to have like a vanished advantage placed on her, so it's going to be harder to see her, right?
I'll let her have this one.
She's got the like predator cloaking thing going on, right?
I'll let her have this one, I guess.
Okay. And she still is. I mean, she still is entangled, but she's like dragging that stuff with her, so you can still invoke that.
You can see the ropes, just not her.
Yeah. No, law of illusions. It like also disappears, right? But it's still there. She's got so many cards. All right. And who's up next? Wesley's up.
That's me. Yeah, I want to cause a distraction, right? So what is that? I want to create an advantage, right?
Okay.
That's what I think the term is. So yeah, what I want to do is, I don't know how long combat takes in Fate, but I assume I chucked this orb high into the sky, like into the Colosseum proper, like where they're fighting and stuff. And then there's been all kinds of things, the face, whatever. I'm gonna shoot it in the air, and I want it to like explode, right, and cause like a distraction, like glittery exploding mess, right?
Cool.
So yeah, I'm going to attempt to shoot this orb out of the air.
Yeah, it's timey-wimey. It's still flying.
With a 1. It's a 1 success.
All right, so this is...
rolling great tonight, guys.
I think this is going to be a fair... This seems like a fair challenge to me.
Okay.
It's a small orb, and it's like some distance away at this point, and it's moving.
Okay, cool. Then I will, in fact, spend my last fate point, and I will use Vampire Master at Arms.
Yes.
Because
is it the first time you guys have used all your fate points?
This is the first time anyone has ever used all of them. Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, for reasons you just will continue next session with no fate points.
Great.
I think.
Perfect.
I'm just kidding.
So yeah, so I fire an arrow quickly, and then it sort of flies, hits this orb, and just explodes it. So it's just like a rain of glitter, right, which kind of draws the eye of the crowd. And is a distraction for everyone else.
Sweet, cool. We'll say glitter bomb distraction.
Yeah.
Is our.
I feel like that's probably like a 1-use invoke on that one.
Yeah, because you beat it. You created. You didn't succeed with style.
Yeah. So it just gets used 1 time.
Yeah. Cool. And who's up next? Mysteria is going to
Bring it.
She's lashing out. She's like yanking herself up and like basically like vaulting onto the same pillar as you.
I figured she was trying for that.
Yeah, so she's like in a state of desperation at this point, right? All right. A 4.
Cool.
So defend against that.
Which she's just basically going to try to push back. And matches her with the 4.
A tie is a twist. Or you can invoke something. You can invoke the glitter bomb if you want. But there are potentially...
You can invoke the fate of Numeria lies in this match.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not putting any pressure on you to...
use my fate points. I can tell.
Yeah.
I still have 2. Like, that's just it.
So does Keith, though, so watch out.
I know, and that's the problem. No, Keith, you love these complications. Let's hear what this one is.
You wrote him after all.
Ooh.
Let me
I know.
give this one to you a little bit here.
All right, so the suddenly she lands on the platform with you, and you guys are like in close proximity, like wrestling with your pugil sticks, and suddenly the pillar beneath you like quakes, and you guys are both like stumbling for a second, as the pillar itself is like floating up in the air, and you guys are like balancing kind of strangely, and it comes to rest like 5 feet away from the queen's barge, right?
Cool.
So she's basically like, okay, take this away from the craziness of the crowd below, and like I want to see the final moment of the match.
I want to see my daughter's fight. Well, not really, but like I want to see the fight up close and personal. Mom, this is very weird. I'm judging you right now, and cool.
Maybe she also wants to make sure that it's not her daughter, right?
Well, yeah. Hopefully, she saw the little lips
eyes
of whatever it was, and
yes,
Mom, accept me as your real daughter.
Meanwhile, down below.
Guess what? My aspects I'm going to be using soon.
That's so sad.
Oh.
I invoke
the drama.
I invoke childhood trauma as my aspect.
I invoke Mom didn't love me enough as a child as my aspect.
Right? Oh, greedy moms. All right, so it's actually your turn
Like
at
it
this
should
point.
be my turn at this point. I just know.
Yeah.
Cool. This is not in the slightest bit awkward. And okay, cool. I'm right up in front of Mom, and I'm gonna still try to basically because we're like floating far away from away from the other things at this point. So my thought process is, okay, get her off of this. This is mine. My footprints are quite literally here. I'm gonna push you off this and prove that I belong here.
Yes. Awesome.
That is how she do. That is only a 4. We're gonna be using some aspects.
Oh, maybe not.
Ooh. Oof. All right. I need to use some aspects.
Bring it, because I will aspect you up.
Because this is the last one, huh?
Right.
All right. The mission.
So many I can use. I don't think you get it. I will do.
The mission above everything is one of her aspects.
Cool.
She is also, I guess this final duel with the sisters is no more, huh? Under the judging eyes of the queen, I think I'm going to invoke an element of not shame, but like a deep-seated expectation that you're not good enough.
Bring it.
Or alternatively, like you do the judging eyes of the queen, and because it's not Evensong, the queen it's referring to is Zinnia, right? Because she's also watching this powerful fight happen.
So she's what, up on me by 2 at this point?
It's 4 to
yes. Points?
Yeah.
Cool. Guess what, Keith? Sorry. Apparently I'm getting very combative in this. I had become one with Vesper.
Yes. Awesome.
So first off, this is where I'm going narratively with this one. So Vesper is very, very much, her mom no longer matters. You know what matters? This kingdom. The fate of Numeria, the fate of her people, and honestly, the right and privilege to rename the Soggy Boot Inn lies in this battle.
Wow.
So I'm invoking the fate of Numeria lies on this match.
That was the best hype up speech ever.
And then, because Vesper does what Vesper does best, she's gonna make a door in her face and just go right for the face with this thing. And that's and makes doors out of everything is the last one we are going to invoke. There to be 2 above.
Yes. Also, I think you could invoke the glitter bomb distraction without spending a fate token.
My narrative is hilarious.
For what it's okay.
I figured that glitter bomb distraction somebody else might be needing that. If I'm getting this crown, there's another crown out on the loose right now. I'm kind of thinking that needs it.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So with all of that, with all of that said, in the midst of this wrestling, you find a hidden strength in the desire to rule this queendom, rename the Soggy Bottom Inn, and be
Soggy Bottom. That's worse than
Soggy Bottom.
Soggy Boot.
Soggy Boot. Excuse me.
Where's your mind, Keith?
That's a SpongeBob thing, isn't it? I feel like
the Bikini Bottom. I don't know who's got a soggy bottom in
Freudian slip. I don't know.
Apparently. We're learning a lot about each other today.
Well, you find a hidden well of all that strength, and shove this imposter off the edge of the pillar.
Good.
Just as an arrow soars through the air and strikes this orb, and a blast of glitter, this figure falls in a puff through the blast of glitter, and cut to the crowd of people looking up and squinting to try and figure out what's going on up there. This huge explosion of glitter, and then a form falling through and landing like crowd surfing style atop all of them. And they all like struggle to, this crowd is like trying to figure out who this is, whether this is Vesper or the imposter that was pretending to be Evensong. And at the sight of seeing that it is not Vesper, they like just scatter, they like hurl her to the ground. And she touches the ground, and the match is won.
Woo!
Who do you look to first?
Does the glitter bomb go off?
Yeah, it's like
in victory. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is perfect.
With confetti.
In that moment, Vesper is actually blatantly ignoring her mom. She is like, you didn't believe in me, and guess what? I just proved you wrong. Suck it. That crown is gonna be mine. I'll get it from you in a minute. I'm enjoying this moment. And like she's looking out to like the people in the crowds and everything like that, because these are my people. This is right. This is what was supposed to happen. Also, where did that body go? Because I should check on that one.
Yes.
Kind of thinks it's her sister, so I mean, minor concern.
It's confused.
Yeah, well, that's Vesper's normal.
I had to like weirdly line it up with everyone's story in case there was a fusion happening, but
it totally made sense.
Oh, I forgot about the fusion.
Well, yeah, it didn't matter. So the crowd roars in joy at this victory of their own, and not this imposter from another land. And the cut to the queen's tightened jaw as she takes the crown off of her head. Cut to the riot of bakers hurling handfuls of cake randomly into the crowds.
Perfect.
They didn't realize that this was happening. They didn't realize that the match was basically being won, and the moment they showed up, they weren't paying attention to the match, and so they're just rioting.
Yeah, it'll be fine soon.
And yeah, but we have the possibility of well, okay, actually, I'm looking at my time, and we'll narratively do a little epilogue and hook for next episode. You guys, working together in a dramatic fashion, managed to catch Queen Zinnia, who is tripping over the invisible tangled ropes and distracted. And
that's the problem with being invisible, is you can't see that shit either.
So true. And drunk with power,
yeah.
You guys managed to catch her, and the figure of I just totally blanked on her name. Remora collapsed in the midst. Poppy, do you have anything to say to your mother before you, I assume, take her crown?
Yeah, I'm just gonna. You don't deserve this. Yank it off her head.
You fool! You don't know what you're doing! The Hyperwoods is an inevitable tide. It will sweep us all away. I chose the right side to join them.
I'm gonna finish wrapping the ropes around her mouth.
Wow.
Yes. Perfect. And Wesley, you just happened to be right by Remora.
I will go last. I think I have an epic curtain close, so I'll be the last one to go.
Okay. Well, there is nobody. Well, I mean, I guess Natalie.
Vesper gets her crown.
Perfect.
Your mother. She's like, I didn't really make this totally clear, but the pillar is like on some kind of anti-grav future tech nonsense. So she's like controlling it with a RC car remote.
Perfect.
And so the pillar like shifts a little bit and then moves up to her Actually, I think symbolically, it's better that she has the driver of her ship move to you. And then she offers the crown up to you and says, "I'm sorry to have doubted you, my daughter. You have more strength than I ever knew."
That's just the face. There's no words. You just
Pretty much.
Boom.
That's
That face.
That's kind of like the face that you see as it like closes on her as she like takes the crown and like. It's just Vesper at this point.
Yes.
all right.
Cool.
So the
Okay,
closing,
cut to Wesley.
The closing Wesley scene is like as the dust is settling around, like the impact of this Remora, is that what her name was?
Yeah.
Wesley is one of the first ones on the field, and he like leans down to like looks like he's like checking to make sure she's alive, which I'm sure she is because vampires, right? But he reaches down and he grabs the circlet and like begins to like pull it off the top of her head, and then he leans in and knowing it doesn't work on vampires, but not sure if it won't trigger something for him, he smooches, and then that is the end of Wesley's scene.
Oh, smooches!
Yep.
Awesome.
He has to know who this person is.
We're doing the triple vertical anime cut where we see all three of you like lowering the crowns onto your head at the same time, and there's like a weird digital interface that is like in your first person perspective of something going on, like controls of some kind, and one of the buttons it shows the weird temple from your guys' vision, and there's a button that's like the throne and various other buttons that we'll figure out in season 2 or whatever. But the hook that I'll leave you guys with is that a big bolt of lightning streaks down from the sky and up from the ground at once, directly over the bakery district in the midst of the Cake Day celebrations, and a rip in reality forms massive over the city, this looming shadow into the Hyperwoods, and we see the giant weird digital trees looming over, and then a figure steps forth from it, a shadowy mantis-like figure, and as the camera is kind of close on it, this figure seems about human size, but when we cut to behind your guys' shoulders, we see that this figure is actually like a kaiju, is like a gigantic monster that has stepped into the realm, stepped into the midst of the city of Numeria, and the screams of those bakers who chose not to join the cake baker rebellion in that neighborhood all sound as that figure claws and swipes the roof off of a building, and yeah.
Okay.
Why you gotta mess with Cake District?
God.
What did it ever do to you?
Jeez, Keith. Yeah, so that epic finale was the end of the end of the penultimate episode. We have one more episode next week where we apparently get killed by a giant evil necromantis. So, you know, who knows what's going to happen. So let's go around, do our introductions. We'll get the hell out of here, go raid a friend of ours. We'll start with Keith. Who are you, where can we find you, and what are you up to?
Yeah, Keith, you can find me at Material Components on most things, or at mcomponents on Twitter. I do, an after-school program in Nashville with kids, teaching tabletop role-playing games, positive morality, nonviolent conflict resolution. We're using our own Powered by the Apocalypse system that we developed in response to the kids' needs. And we've started up in 3 locations here in Nashville in the last week. On the 4th draft of this system that we've been working on since 2018, and it's going great, and we love it. So if you're into that, check us out at theheroesguild.com or on the social medias and stuff, and see pictures of cute kids playing tabletop role-playing games and whatnot. And they're awesome maps. We have them draw up the maps and stuff, so that's always
dope.
great Instagram material.
Hell yeah. Also, Keith will be back next season. for an unannounced game yet, because I haven't announced any of them yet. But I'll probably do that next week.
I'm stoked. I'm stoked for my character.
It should be super fun. With that, we'll switch things over to Chaotic Rogue. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to, Natalie?
Hi, I'm Natalie, also known as Chaotic Rogue. Best place to find me on Twitter at Chaotic Rogue. To figure out what I'm doing, what I'm up to, and all of that jazz. You can find me on Variant Rolls on Friday in the Dresden Files game, and then on this coming Sunday on Goldheart Gaming in the Legacy of Eldrin game. Otherwise, you can find me with the Mage College. We create third-party content for mostly Dungeons and Dragons. We have 2 really cool things coming out, hopefully within the next week or so. So we've got Mariah's Mesmerizing Manual, which is very much a look at the Beguiler subclass, reinventing that for the 5th edition, as well as a lot of like bewitchy deception-y type spells that I feel like really go well with Poppy, actually, very much so with that kind of character. And a Fire Soul Sorcerer subclass, which will be coming out pretty soon as well. Those are kind of the big things that are coming out, because apparently there's a lot going on.
Hell yeah.
What about Root?
Oh my god, and also I'm in I'm in a lot of things, okay? I am also on Terrible Warriors. They have a podcast where I've been playing Root. I've been playing a thief because they let me do that.
That was a mistake.
I was like, they didn't pick it yet. I was like, and this is mine? You all made them. It's beautiful. So I think episode 2 might be out as of this week. I gotta double check. I have no idea. But so it is a 4-part podcast over the course of this month, kind of / I guess going into next month, over the course of the Root RPG Kickstarter, which is on right now by Magpie Games. So you play adorable animals trying to find your way as a vagrant in the big forest. It's adorable and also weird. So I go and steal stuff. It's great.
Wow. Usually when I segue things, I just take the last thing you said and then just say it about the person. But you just said it's adorable and weird. So speaking of adorable and weird, Kai, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
That would be me. I am Stonefly_Kai on pretty much everywhere. I am mostly on Twitter, though. I'm really good at this stuff. I'm really good at my outro every time.
I started leaving sticky notes for myself.
That's what I should do, or like practice it. Mm-hmm. I should actually practice it. Anyways, I play on Cobalt Press on Sundays, and over there I'm one of their sword dancer fighters, which has been a lot of fun to play. That's what I'm up to.
Fantastic. Also, because she never plugs it, go check out her art. It's super dope. She just did a dog goblin. I'm not convinced it's not a goblin, but she keeps calling it a dog. The art is on Instagram and on Twitter as well. So go check that shit out.
Thank you.
And with that, inspired by Poppy's magic, we're going to go raid our friend Cherry Babam. She's a player in our Monday night game. She's currently doing some weird tarot stuff. So go check that out. If you guys want to support the channel, please go check out our Patreon. You can check the link down below. And if you guys want to join our Discord, also link down below for all that fun stuff. And with that, we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.